right. And then we're almost set up, Jared.
Oh, you're good.
Maybe like 2 more minutes.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna move this over. Alrighty. Just set this up. I'm live streaming it. Did you get that email?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
the live link.
yeah, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
it's sent out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm sending it around Instagram.
Okay, cool. I'll do the same. I know, but I actually might move this up a little bit.
Okay, you can double check folks on all of that stuff. You all set, Justin?
Say again?
You all set on that side?
I am good to go.
Well, let's go ahead and get started then. Good morning, how's everybody feeling this morning? Great.
Great.
We're gonna have to try that one again. Yeah, I know it ain't but what? Ain't but about 10 of us. We're gonna have to loud this up a little bit. How's everybody doing this morning?
Great.
There we go. Work with me now. But yeah, welcome to the marketing and branding masterclass. I'm thankful, for Chelsea and Tarrant County just in trusting me with this lecture. This is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I'm really fortunate because a lot of us, marketing and branding is just one of those sexy topics. It's something that's fun, it's innovative, it's creative. It's not like operations or finance and accounting, taxes. It's nothing like that. It's marketing and branding is one of the more creative parts and fun parts of building a business. So today we're going to be diving into really the fundamentals of marketing and branding, what you can kind of do to position your brand to kind of stand out in the marketplace and everything like that. So that's one thing that we're going to be looking towards. So who am I? First and foremost, I was born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. I am 33 years old. So this has been my backyard for some time now. Being 33, I've been here 27 of the 33 years of my life. So I am one of Dallas's own. And fortunately for myself, I'm fortunate to just be able to call this place home for myself. And a lot of people don't know this, but this is my second career track. I actually started with a background in accounting and finance. So this is a second career track for myself. And I think it's a good testament to show you that, you can always pivot in this marketplace. It's not a matter of necessarily staying put, but you can always transition and pivot as long as there is a calling and room for what it is that you want to do. It's a living testimony to be able to just kind of make that transition in the marketplace. So I am the founder and owner of Signature Style Media, and we are a Dallas-based video marketing agency here in Dallas, and we serve the entire DFW. So who we are and what we do. So as I mentioned earlier, we are a video marketing agency. What does that mean? Well, two primary things. One, we specialize in events. Anything, some of your bigger corporate conferences, festivals, trade shows, we cover events within the DFW Metroplex. And the second arm of our business is we specialize in branded content. Branded content is considered content for you guys, local, service-based businesses. Think of it as strategic, authentic content that connects what you do to your audience. And our mission is just to empower local service-based businesses like yourself, helping them generate leads, build trust within the marketplace, and also convert those leads. Credibility fees. Why should you listen to me? Who's in front of you? Why do you care what I have to say? Well, first and foremost, again, I'm homegrown. And I say that because I am a local service business just like yourself. I grew up in this marketplace. I know what it's like to service this area. I have my heart and my ear to the community, and I'm continuously immersed in that. Secondly, just experience. I've worked with hundreds, my team and myself have worked with hundreds of local service-based businesses all throughout the DFW Metroplex. It's not hearsay, it's practical, in the field knowledge and our insights from what we're hearing, what we're seeing from working with local businesses just like yourself. We have proven results. Our discovery calls. One of the biggest important pieces of that is having conversations with your clients, having conversations with prospects. What are they experiencing? What problems, are they having? What are some of their aspirations? Being continuously immersed in that kind of environment is what allows us to understand kind of what the current marketplace and landscape is, but then also what are our businesses struggling with, what are they succeeding with. When you keep that kind of pulse on a community and on a landscape, you get a pretty good idea of what works, what doesn't, what you can tweak, what you can change, and you start to see some of those common recurring patterns. And just my daily practice. This is how I make my living. This is what I do. And we're all at different places in our entrepreneurial journey. Some of us are full-time, some of us are part-time. That's not a knock to anybody that's in here. We're all here to obviously for continuous education and seeing how we can kind of improve. But this is how I make my honest living. And there's a certain level of professionalism and acumen that takes to survive in this kind of current economy and marketplace. So let's get into it. Marketing, branding, and fundamentals. Everything starts here. And I want to take time to kind of spoil it. I should have set the stage with this, but we're going to make this interactive today. And I want it as participative as you can be. It's going to be phenomenal because the more we contribute, the better it's going to be for everybody that's involved, right? And so that's my goal for today is for you all to be able to walk out here with real life application and insights that you can provide for you, that you can integrate tomorrow for your business. And we're gonna have fun while we do it. So marketing, branding, and fundamentals. Everything starts here. Now I want to talk about supply and demand because this piece is one of the most fundamental yet underlooked parts of when you decide to become an entrepreneur or when you decide to enter the marketplace. So the law of supply and demand. When you made the conscientious decision, whether you knew it or not, but when you made the conscientious decision to become an entrepreneur, you walked into the law of supply and demand. On the supply side, you now offer a service. And I lead with that because that frame is extremely important. On the supply, it may feel like it as much as we talk about markets and how saturated that may be, what your competition looks like. the demand for what you do, I promise you, always exceeds the number of supplier that's in that space. And if you can keep that frame in mind, now the question and the perspective starts to be about how can I separate myself from all the other competition that's in this marketplace like me? Because I promise you, there's a demand for what it is that you do. Whatever you may tell yourself, if you're telling yourself, oh, I know a million, hair salons, I know a million beauticians, I know a million landscape companies, I know a million accountants, a million IT guys. Every market is saturated at this time, if that's going to be the approach that you have. But market saturation is always at the bottom. It's always at the bottom. So I want you guys to keep that frame in mind, because that's going to be an important piece of it, how we set the frame for marketing and branding. And so really, the biggest question is, what problem do you solve? Every single service and product that is in existence today solves a problem. So I want you to ask yourself, what kind of products or services can you all name that solve a unique problem in the marketplace? Just let's rattle them off. Let's make this interactive. Amisha,
Kleenex.
what's Kleenex solve? I can relate to this one, especially this
Allergy season,
allergy season.
The problem that is solved, wipe your nose.
Like, God, you know more than anybody.
Yeah.
My nose is continuously running. I should probably be a silent partner with Kleenex at this point, because it's something that I personally need and require. Give me another one.
Say food.
Food. What kind of problem does food solve?
Probably hungry.
Hungry? Okay. Give me. Hunger's a good one. Hunger's a obvious one.
Cookies and cakes.
What's that? Which one does that solve? Because you don't need cookies and cake. I do. But
Say nutrition then.
Nutrition?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, nutrition.
I want you to dig a little bit deeper than that. What does food solve? Yeah, so it satisfies basic survival, nutrition. We all need that. But oftentimes what you'll understand and what you'll start to see is that there's layers to this. And if you dig a little bit deeper, that's where the gold is. Survival, absolutely. What else? Anybody else eat for comfort? I do. No, I do. Anybody else eat for comfort?
So it's called
Anybody else
cheat
eat
day,
for
right?
enjoyment?
Yeah, cheat day.
Yeah, everybody got a cheat day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Food, love it. So we got survival, nutrition, comfort, enjoyment. Give me another one.
Themed.
I'm sorry?
Themed.
Themed. Themed?
They do it for like certain things, like food for this, food
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Parties.
Yep. All kinds, yep. You got a gathering of people. Give me a product. Give me another product, or give me another service.
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste. What's toothpaste on?
Dental hygiene allows you to keep your teeth.
Okay.
Protects against gingivitis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Allows you to keep eating that food that you like so much.
Yeah, right. Let's go a layer deeper than that.
Let's do procurement.
Procurement? Okay, hold on. Before we get to that piece, before we get to that
Not trying to
piece,
jump the gun,
I
but
want to stay on dental hygiene.
Hygiene.
I want to stay on dental hygiene. Let's go a layer deeper than that, Rocco.
Okay. Yeah. Breath.
Bread.
Helps to.
Okay, because we're close now. We're close. Bread. Why do you care about why should you care if your breath funky or not?
first impressions of everything.
First impressions, everything. So now we getting into it. What is the umbrella that first impressions is under?
Memories are tied to smell, so
I ain't even. That's real deep.
Yeah.
That's real deep. I don't want my first impression of somebody to be vain. You know.
Also, your character association. People may not want to do business with you because they feel if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to
Absolutely.
take care of them.
Okay.
The thing that I want to unify under all of this, optics. It's one of the biggest things that most people care about. themselves and how they look.
Right.
That is an intrinsic feeling. And what you'll start to understand is one of the core principles of marketing and branding is not on the exterior. That's why I had us go deeper. Because you don't want to stay at the surface level when you're marketing and branding. You want to touch on the pains, fear points, aspirations of people. That's how you sell. That's how you sell. Who wants to go into it and just hear, oh, it's got dental, it's gingivitis, it's prevents against plaque. Compare and contrast, and that's good, Rocco, that's good, but compare and contrast that to just the $1 million smile that gets you that grant from that one government provider.
All because of toothpaste.
All because of toothpaste. That's a different story. That's an entirely different story. Just from that one example, understanding what problem do you solve and going deeper within it. I want to actually take this time. Let's somebody throw me a live here. Tell me what it is that you do, and this is fun again. There's no judgment here, guys. I want this to be interactive for everybody involved. We're all one family here, and we're at different phases in our entrepreneurial journeys. So somebody tell me what it is that they do and what problems do they solve. Who wants to be the bold one to start it off?
I direct a M&A firm, so we help to sell businesses and we help to turn businesses into franchises.
All right, absolutely, wonderful. That sounds high ticket.
Yeah.
I know it is. I know it is. All right. What problem do you solve in the marketplace, Rocco?
We help owners get money out of their largest asset.
Mm.
So it's a lot of times you have owners that have had a business for 30 plus years.
Mhm.
They don't know what's the next step.
Mm.
So we help to connect them to the buyers so that they can move on to that next phase of life and
I love
ride off
that.
in the sunset.
I love that because you're starting to go deep with it. That next step of life. That's an important problem. Because what I just heard is people that may have been in the space 20, 30, 40 years, I'm looking to transition. I don't know what this looks like for me. That's how you can speak to that audience. That's different versus just, oh, we help facilitating broker deals. Sounds very different. We hope you transition to your next phase in life smoothly. Let's do one more. Tell me your name.
Kayla Hunter,
Kayla Hunter.
yes.
Kayla, what do you do, Kayla?
For a living or for my business?
For your, ooh. All right, let's do, we're here under the local service-based business kind of theme
Okay.
today. So let's go with that one.
Okay, so for my business, I run two businesses. I just started a DNA testing business,
Wow.
and then I'm a certified notary who specializes in estate planning and document preparation.
Gotcha.
I work with a lot of attorneys. A lot of people don't know they need a notary until they need one.
Right.
A notary is essential because not only can we facilitate documentation, I do things like scribing. I assist with apostilles, which is the authentication of documents. Here in Texas, we get a lot of people who come to work from foreign countries. Their documents have to be apostilled. And I handle that. I do things like ladybird deeds.
Okay.
I do seminars where I have attorneys that I work with, paralegals that I work with,
Sure.
and I go in disparaged areas and inform them about the importance of having estate planning, the power of having a trust, and giving your people the opportunity to grieve without panic and anxiety.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank both of y'all for sharing.
You're welcome.
The one thing that's important in all of what was just mentioned was solving a particular need. People have needs and wants, And almost to this day, you can probably put wants under the umbrella of needs these days. But everything, each one of us, and the service that we provide solves a problem and a need. Okay? What is branding? Before we get to that slide, I want to continue to keep this open format. When you hear the term branding, what comes to mind? What do you think of when you hear the term branding?
Feeling,
I'm sorry?
a feeling.
A feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling and association. That's good. That's good. Anybody else?
Certain products,
Certain products. Okay. What about certain products?
like instead of tissue, you think of Kleenex.
Mmm.
So,
That's good. Tell me your name one more time.
Brianna.
Rihanna. That's good, Rihanna. That's good. Anything else?
I think it's a representation of your business.
Okay.
And, certain branding allows people to be able to identify, oh yeah, that's such and such.
Mm-hmm.
That's their mark.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Anybody else want to share?
The psychology.
Psychology. That's good. What about psychology?
You need to be able to know how to represent whatever in a way that resonates with people.
These are all great answers. These are all great answers. I want to actually start with what branding is not. It's not your logo. Oftentimes what you'll hear is people, when they hear the term branding, they think of logos. I'm not saying it's the wrong thought, but that's not what branding is. It's not your logo. It's not your colors. I know so many people that spend so much time, I want to make my color palette sexy. We got some guilty ones in the room, Brianna. You're looking real guilty right now.
Well, you know, I work in marketing, so it's also one. It's part of a brand kit.
It's part of a brand kit. What do you do?
I'm a content creator, but I
Content
do
creator.
it for corporate spaces, but I also help people with like their branding.
That's amazing. We'll have to connect. We're in a very similar space. So, absolutely, it's part of your brand kit and your identity, right? Okay. It's not your color palette. It's not your typography, and it's not your font. I know so many people that live in this world, and it never extends beyond just that. They pick the logo, they pick the colors, they pick the fonts, and they think to myself, now I got a brand. Those are pieces, but that's not a brand. I want to stay with this, showcase an example here. That first one, red and yellow. Anybody think of a brand that they think of?
McDonald's.
That's the one that I was thinking of, McDonald's. McDonald's, absolutely. Just do it.
Nike.
Nike. You might tell me what that top right is, what it looks like?
Heinz.
Heinz ketchup.
Heinz ketchup. What about that line sound at the beginning of a movie?
No.
That's
Lion
Metro
King.
Goldmine.
Ah, okay, MGM,
Yeah,
right?
MGM.
How about this one? Ta-dum.
Netflix.
So here it is. We took one piece, one individual element of a brand, and somehow we got a full picture of that entire product or service.
I call that brainwashing.
Absolutely, that's what we're trying to get to. Absolutely. So you can take one individual element and somehow concoct an entire picture of a particular product, service, or company. That is branding. And these companies have done it so well that they just gotta give you a little piece of it. Just a little piece of it for you to know. You know how powerful that is? Well, I don't have to do no explaining. I will let my brand serve as I believe you use the term representation, to serve as a representative for our business. I can just sit back in the cut on speed. That's building something that works for you around the clock. That's the power of a good and recognizable brand. So I want to talk about what branding is. some of these are gonna be personal definitions, but it's all gonna be a, a takeaway that's gonna be right in line with what the actual official terminologies and definitions are. Branding, there's no any one particular description of it, right? And so you will all have to figure out, what does branding mean and represent to you in a way that you can understand it and you can also apply it, right? But the way that I understand and apply branding is that branding is a bunch of small integrated pieces that are all aligned, done consistently over time. The key word being consistent and aligned. Oftentimes at this level, what you will see, and when I say this level, I mean at the local level, because it's hard to compete with these bigger corporations have entire departments dedicated towards this. They have this nailed down to a T. For us that don't have as many resources, that are starting out, that don't have the knowledge, that don't have the personnel, that don't have the resources, it's still extremely as important, but we just don't have the expertise or the resources as these bigger businesses. But you still gotta compete oftentimes with these businesses. So how do you do it? How many of us can go to somebody's page and it looks one way, and you go to their website, and when I say page, I mean their social medias. They speak one way on social media, you go to their website, and it looks like an entirely different kind of business or company. There's no continuity, it's fragmented. That's inconsistent branding. The consistency piece is probably the most prominent. Consistent and aligned. It's actually how rebrands work. I had a good friend of myself who that I went to college with, who is a very well-known and very liked guy. And he got into the real estate space and he said, Jared, let me ask you something, man. You're very familiar with branding and marketing. How can I get people to associate me with real estate? Nobody knows me for real estate, man. They know me as the humble, the humble guy that everybody likes, the prom king. How can I get people to associate me with real estate? And I said, man, you're just gonna keep doing it. You gotta give people the time to associate you with a particular product or a service. You mentioned Kleenex, and I love it. I'm gonna show you the highest level of branding that you could possibly achieve. How many of us, when you want to tell somebody to search something, what is the phrase that you use to that person? Google it. When you want somebody to pass you a tissue, what is the phrase that you might say?
Kleenex.
Pass me a Kleenex. These are not the official terms, yet they have taken the place of the official terms. They are the monopolies in this particular space. Your goal and objective should be striving to be, when somebody thinks of this product or this service, my company is in mind. You want to be the Google. You want to be the Kleenex. That if I think of anything real estate related, I think of this person. If I think of anything accounting related, I think of this person. And the only way to do that is to be aligned and consistent over time. That's everything saying the same thing across all platforms, okay? And I love this term because we had, forgive me, I can't remember who mentioned it, but we talked about, who said feeling for branding? Rocco, feeling. I love it. Because feelings are visceral. Oftentimes you can't even explain it. You don't know what it is that you feel, can't articulate it, you just feel it. Branding is the emotional clarity that exists when somebody comes into contact with your product or service. When you hear Apple, you may think of innovation. You may think of industry leader. You may think of cutting edge technology. What's funny about it is that Apple is actually hardly ever an industry leader as it turns to putting out new products. But you think that, and they branded themselves that way. There's a huge lesson in that you don't actually have to be the thing. And I'm not advocating for any false misrepresentation here, but it goes to show you the power of how important and how powerful branding is. To be able to get people to think something or exaggerate certain things and ideas. Think of Apple as innovation. Nike, aspirational, gritty. I can be an athlete. Hell, I can't even hoop no more. But Nike make me, you see one of the Nike commercials, I'll be ready to run through a wall. That's just me personally. That's good branding and marketing. It's the emotional clarity that exists between your brand and your audience. Why branding and marketing is essential for small businesses. We touched on this a little bit earlier. You cannot compete at the level that these bigger corporations can. I wouldn't try. They're monopolies for a reason. To be a monopoly, they call it barriers to entry. That just means that you can't come into my space and compete. They'll buy you out before you even get a chance to do so. Think Walmart gonna allow somebody to just kind of come into this space and offer something at a low price? They'll say how much you want. Let's get you about here. So you cannot compete in these lanes that some of these already existing businesses are competing in. You don't have the expertise, you don't have the resources. It's an uneven playing field for local service businesses. Is it unfair? Probably so. But the marketplace is the marketplace. Controlling the narrative. I see this a lot with a lot of local service businesses. Great at what they do. Whatever product or service that they have, phenomenal at it. Same common story. Nobody knows about us. Excellent at what we do, just can't get the message out. And when they do put messages out, don't do a great job at communicating and showing the value of what it is that they do. So they don't do a good job at controlling the narrative. Legitimacy. Good brand is always going to add legitimacy to your business. It's going to give you a leg up in the marketplace compared to your competitors. And then sales efficiency. This is my absolute favorite. So many people spend so much time perfecting their actual service. How many of it, and I'm guilty of this myself, so I'll be the first one to raise my hand. How many of us are guilty and have been so fixated on how can I provide the best possible experience for what it is that I do? I know I'm guilty. Anybody else here guilty of that? And why I mention that is because marketing is something that precedes sales. And sales is also something that precedes you operations, you actually fulfilling and doing the thing that you provide for your customers. And if you can do extremely well on the marketing and the branding side of it, sales becomes a lot easier. And that's because people have convinced themselves of the value of what you offer before you even do the thing. You don't have to be the best to be the best. And it took me a while to understand. The huge misconception is you actually need to be the best at what it is that you do. If you want to dominate your market, I got to be the best. I have to provide the most superior product or service that is out there on the marketplace today. And it's the biggest misconception that's out there. There are people in your space currently right now running circles around you. Now, I don't say that to belittle anybody. I say that to speak to the opportunity that exists. There are people that are half as good as what you do and the service that you provide, dominating in your market right now. You don't have to be the best to be the best. Repetition creates familiarity. Familiarity breeds trust, and trust is what drives sales. So how do we build it? How do we build a brand that sticks? Biggest misconception and biggest mistake that we see, it's starting with yourself. Hey, I got this particular thing that I want to sell, man. Let's get it out there. I see it all the time. I see it amongst solos. I see it amongst groups. Hey, man, I got this idea. Well, what does the marketplace think about your idea? Have you tried it? Have you tested it? Is there a demand for it? I understand that you want to give it, you want to provide it. But what does the market say about this particular problem, this particular product or service? The very first slide that we had talked about the law of supply and demand. Because the demand piece is where you will make your riches. If you can transition, your audience is going to define nearly everything that you do. Almost 99.9% of what you do as an owner, not even just pertaining to just branding and marketing, but most especially branding and marketing, is going to be dependent on who you serve. And so if you are coming in with the mentality of I'm going to do and provide the things that I want to provide, you are setting yourself up in a bad place. Now, some people get lucky and the thing that they want to do coincides. And I would think that that's the ultimate, most optimal position that you want to be in, is where you can marry what you want to provide to an audience that's hungry and desires it. But you always want to start with who you are speaking to with your particular product or service. Who are you for? So how do we build a brand that sticks? How do you want people to remember you? The thing I love most about marketing and branding, you curate this entire experience. What kind of experience do you want to design for your customer? Because oftentimes they don't know. They have feelings. And it's great because that gives you a lot of wiggle room to play with. What kind of experience do you want to design for them? It's the equivalent to being able to have somebody walk into a room and you be responsible for the music, the colors, the furniture and interior design elements that are within the room. What kind of experience do you want to curate for your audience? I don't know about you all, but I love having things within my control. That may sound a bit controlling, but if you give me the option to dictate things, I want to reduce as much uncertainty and unknowns as I possibly can. And if you're telling me with branding, you have the ability to come in and curate an entire experience for somebody, do you know how powerful that is? Before I started my video agency, I was a cinematographer. And the thing that attracted me most, I still am, but the thing that attracted me most to cinematography was I could have control over so many elements. It was like starting with a block of ice and I can shape and fine tune it however I want it to be. I got control over the sound, the mood, whether I wanted to do a cold color palette or a warm one, the music, how it made you feel. If I wanted it to feel somber, if I wanted it to feel hype. I still enjoy those elements for events today. What kind of experience do I want to curate for the viewer of this video? To be in control of all of those elements, you have that same ability with your brand. And that's how you begin to shape your perception of your brand with purpose. Brand, voice, and personality. I love this example because it's so applicable. We've all been in networking events. In fact, Rocco, it's funny because I'm reminded in a moment of I got stuck on the elevator at BNI. First time I've been stuck in an elevator before. I don't know if anybody's been stuck in an elevator before, but it was. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. It gets hot fast.
No one.
It gets hot fast, right? But what was interesting about that experience was it was like a movie. The personalities came out at once. You got the funny guy, he's laughing, he's making jokes. You got the anxious woman that's pressing the button, hitting the call button every 5, 10, 15 seconds. You got the worrier. All kinds of different personalities came out at once. I said, man, this feels like a movie. What I love most about this is you get the option to pick your brand voice and your personality. If you've been to a networking event, you know the kinds of different personalities that exist. The loud, confident one starts the conversations, leads and facilitates the groups and the sessions, does a lot of the talking, right? Quiet expert, don't say too much, get them to the side, get them out the side for drinks, filled with a wealth of knowledge and information. You be thinking to yourself, man, why you don't say anything? I had no idea. The warm, approachable one, right? Ones that you can draw towards and kind of stay near. Straight shooter. Just tell it like it is, right? The beauty in this is that every last one of these impressions can work for your business. The takeaway here is, which voice do you want to embody and be for your audience? And can you do that consistently over time? For myself personally, it wouldn't make sense. I'm more of a straight shooter. Can I have these comedic moments? Sure. But it wouldn't make good sense for me to take on a brand personality and a brand voice of a comedic brand. Because now I gotta show up every day and I gotta pretend. Your brand will have core values and personality just like you, the person, and it should. Be intentional the same way that you know and understand who you are, what you like. How do you want your brand to show up and be? And I would recommend you marry those. They don't have to be the exact same, but I would recommend and advise you make up that brand in a way that feels very authentic to who you are, that makes it easy for you to embody and be those things. The reason that is so important, we talked earlier about things being fragmented, showing up inconsistently across different platforms and channels. That creates a very disjointed experience for your audience. Most times your prospects or your customers and clients, they may not be able to articulate it, but they can feel it. I use this example often. If you walked into, and we'll talk about color psychology a little bit later, but if you were to walk into a dental office and the color palettes were filled with purple, gold, take these colors for example, you'd be like, I don't know, some feel a little bit off here. You wouldn't even necessarily know how to explain it. You would be like, that don't seem like that fit. Anytime your brand shows up in a way that is inconsistent across platforms, that's what happens to your audience. And the end result is they lose confidence and trust in what you provide and what you do, even if they can't articulate it. So every caption, email, video, and all the ways, anything that's written related that you show up needs to be through the filter of, does this sound like me? Is this us? Color psychology. This is a huge piece of it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here, but colors give visceral feelings. Warm tones like red, orange, they make you feel a way. They give you energy, vibrancy. Cool tones give you a feeling as well, calmness, trustworthy, experience. That's why you see a lot of financial businesses like Chase use cool color palettes. Service providers where there's a lot of trust involved, HVAC, plumbing, you see a lot of cool tones. Anything that has to deal with renewable energy or green, anything that's dealt with preservation, energy, you'll see green, blue, sometimes yellow. for things that are a bit more interesting, lively, warm tones, reds, yellows, oranges. Guys, that's intentional. To use my brand as an example, Signature Style Media, I knew when I started my business, I wanted to serve premium clients. I wanted to provide a premium experience for what it is that I was doing. But I also wanted to lead with trust, being trustworthy and reliable, because I know that's what business owners value. And so what I did was I married the color palette of blue for trustworthy and gold for premium. Purple, that's a royalty kind of color. If you are one of those high-end luxury experiences that only work with 2 or 3 clients, you give that, you want to consider color palettes like that. The point being is be intentional about how you're establishing your brand and how it's going to be perceived. Or, Justin, give me something. I want to make sure too. Is it out?
You got, put it on 20, 30 minutes.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. This is probably my most favorite piece right here, positioning. I love, positioning is my favorite word. And it's also my favorite marketing and branding element. And I'm gonna explain to you why. So the art of positioning, all positioning is the mental real estate that you occupy in your customers' heads. When we talk about marketing and branding, there's a thought. Every brand, for the most part, that you know of, when they pop up or when you experience them, it's somewhere in your head what you feel for that particular product or service. And that is positioning. It's the first thing that people hear it's the first thing that people feel when they hear your brand. This is extremely important because every industry has markets and every industry has tiers. Perception always wins. How many of us, and again, there's no judgment here, how many of us have said that, there's just not people that want, there's just not enough people that want what it is we do? Anybody? Don't be shy now, you got sour group now, come on now. Ain't nobody ever had some of them limiting beliefs like, man, don't nobody want what I got. Tell you right now, there's people actively buying what it is that you do. I promise you. There's people actively buying what it is that you provide. So don't tell yourself that. My price too high. How many of us have heard this? I better see every hand go up in this room.
I don't think mine was high enough.
You don't think yours high enough?
Yeah.
Well, that's one indicator I'll say there for sure. If people are jumping on what it is that you do, sometimes you get clients to tell you, just, you're not charging enough, man. That's a good problem. It's a good thing to hear. But I think many of us have been in a place where we have heard, your price is just too high. You may have the tendency to want to put that onto the prospect of the client, but somebody that's wanting to build and scale a lucrative business is going to take that information and turn it. Because that person, that client has given you gold as to saying you are not positioned premium enough. It's not a demand problem. It's a perception problem. Kelly?
I worked in hotel hospitality management for 20 years in Vegas. And I learned by working in that space that your tribe will resonate towards you. Your tribe will find you. That's why we have McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's.
Yep.
And if you bring forth a good service and you have a good product, then your price is your price.
We'll talk. We actually gonna talk on that a little bit later.
Yeah,
I'm
your
glad you
price is
mentioned
your
that.
price.
We'll touch on that a little bit later. I'm glad that you mentioned that. But absolutely, there's tiers, right? There is you can look at this in so many aspects of life. You can look at it in dating, there's somebody for everybody.
Right.
In almost every aspect of life, whether you're doing things for all the right reasons, all the wrong reasons, you can find people to support a particular cause. And if you can find people to support a particular cause or movement, you can find people to support a particular product or service. It's no different. It makes it a little bit easier for movements and causes, because why? Anybody want to tell me why? We talked about it in the early phases of it, when we were talking about getting beneath the surface. It's feeling. When you are supporting causes and movements, it's feelings. Local businesses make the mistake of going over here, oh yeah, we provide an exceptional quality service. I'm sorry, but your audience doesn't want to hear that. Your customers don't want to hear that. They don't make logical, rational decisions. Marketing is about hitting people right here. It resonates. And if you're coming at a logical level, if you're coming at a surface level, that's why I had us go deeper. I was asking us to go deeper because that is where you have to market. It may even feel uncomfortable. That's good. You want people to feel uncomfortable. One of the number one things for sales, what drives somebody to take action?
They believe in what you're saying.
There's that piece of it. I would say that that gets them trending in the right direction.
Also, you have presented it and they find value in what you presented to them, and you have probably solved the problem as well.
That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Problem.
A pain point. You've
Because
addressed a pain
problems
point.
are pain points.
Yes.
People don't make decisions to move forward or progress when they're comfortable. And that resonates in all parts of life. When you're comfortable, you may stay status quo. You may even regress a little bit. But people tend to only move forward when they feel pain. Good marketing and branding makes somebody feel, oh, I need this. I'm less than if I don't have that. I'm not as higher status if I don't purchase this. I gotta have it. Make your audience feel something. And you can't do that if you don't go beneath the surface. Probably my favorite quote. I put my thing in because I feel like I'm Shakespeare or somebody when I say this. But positioning, to me, is not about changing what it is that you do. It is about changing the perception of what you do or what you say. And I'm gonna prove it to you. I don't know why my photos aren't populating, but every single thing that we have in life has tears. Every product or service that you can think of has tears. Somebody give me an example. I have a few listed kind of on the screen, but I want somebody to take their particular industry, and let's do it live. Nobody want to
We
take
can go with contract. You can say there's levels of contract. You local governments. You got the state governments, and you got the federal at the top.
Yep. Absolutely. I love using these examples because to me they're universal. Fitness is my favorite one. Let's do 3 tiers. Lower, medium, and high, right? Planet Fitness is your lower tier. Can anybody imagine what you're probably going to experience at Planet Fitness? What is the audience going to probably be like?
New Year's resolution audience.
I love it. I love it.
People just starting out.
People just starting out. What? Okay, that's great. Those are what we would consider demographics, right? Because it's quantitative data. Okay, how long you been working out? 2 months. You can measure it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Probably have a particular weight size to them, average.
Right.
Probably overweight, right? Data, more quantitative data. Can somebody give me, and we're gonna talk about this, can somebody give me some insight into the mentality of somebody starting out in the fitness space?
Low commitment.
Low commitment. Probably gonna start in the New Year's.
Yeah, a lot of yo-yoing. Right? Yes.
A lot of ups and downs, right? How about confidence?
No confidence or minimal confidence.
Minimal confidence, right? What are your fears when you starting out with something and you walking around people that seem to know what they're doing, and you starting out in this space and
Feeling inferior.
feeling inferior? I love it. I love it. One thing that I'm hoping that you're starting to see is this is your marketing material. You want to create some good content? This is where you start. This is exactly where you start. Sports. One thing when I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, I learned big college town. I'm a big market guy. I came from Dallas. I ain't do too much college. They got the Panthers, they got the Hornets. I'm used to the Cowboys and the Mavs, man. They big into Duke, Wake Forest, UNC. Same thing with here, NCAA, NBA G League, NBA. There's tiers in your particular product or service. Water, they got tiers for water, guys.
Oh, yeah.
The universal, most widespread resource that you could possibly have. They have found a way to segment and tier out water. I don't want to hear anything about staying in the lane for you. You can sell and tier out water. I promise you can tier out what you do. And so the takeaway I want you to have for this is, what is your audience like at the tier that you want to operate? What's the makeup like? What do they think? What do they value? And use that as your marketing material. This is just into, I probably should have put this slide with the messaging piece of it, but this is how you talk to that audience. If you're in budget, you see how the terminology that's used? Discover affordable hydration options for everyone. Affordable makes it seem inclusive. Starting out easy, low friction, right? That's probably something that you want for the Planet Fitness. Anybody can do it. Elevate your drinking experience with quality. That's them saying, okay, we're not base tier, but we a little bit of a step up. We're not premium, but we're a step up, right? Elevate your drinking experience with quality. And you got luxury or premium. And it's the lane that I like to operate in. And it's the reason why I like to operate in this lane is because you can achieve more doing less. All of these can work, guys. Pick your lane and position. Walmart's monopolizing everything.
Right.
Do you think they compete at premium? No. Walmart will fire you the next day and have somebody in your spot the following. They won't think two things of it. Albertsons. Let me walk you to your car, Ms. Johnson. Let me carry your groceries with you. Because they can't afford cheaper quantity. They can't afford scale like Walmart. So they can't compete with them in that model. So they have to compete in other ways. Courtesy, trying to curate the best experience that's possible. Walmart might throw your bag in the cart and say, I'll probably see you next week. And I'm the type of customer, Walmart, they market somebody like me, and I said, I can bag my own groceries. As long as them prices cheap.
I'm sorry, does anybody have a white car?
White truck.
No, it's not the Jeep, it's a,
It's a Ford.
yeah, it's like a white Ford, no.
Hatchback.
Okay,
White Ford, no white Ford.
sorry about that there.
Oh, no, you're fine. They know their model so well. Yeah, they'll fire you and they'll have a replacement the next day. They ain't gonna think twice of it. Know the tier which you're competing in. So what truly separates you from your competition? Here's gonna be where you build a lot of value for your business. Differentiation. How does one truly stand out in a crowded marketplace? Differentiation. Being different. I want us to understand differentiation. How many of us, matter of fact, I'm gonna back up. When you think of differentiation, what do you think of?
setting yourself apart
How? Doing what?
by, it could be the services that you offer.
Okay.
It could be your specialization or what your focal point is in your business.
Okay.
It could be, the way in which you sell your business or present your business.
Okay.
I can
We're
use,
in the right direction. I love it.
also, it could be the way that you present the service.
Okay.
The presentation, the way your service
Aesthetics.
appears, the aesthetics,
okay.
most definitely.
Mhm.
And then I'm really big on education
Education.
and being
Okay.
informative.
What is the result of education that makes you different?
Number one, it disarms them.
Mm.
And it makes them more receptive because you're giving them information that they can apply. Number two.
Would you say disarm
Yes,
would be the right word with education?
yes,
Why so?
because you've empowered them, because you've informed them of something they can utilize to resolve the issue.
When you empower somebody, do you disarm them?
You disarm their defenses, but you arm them with education which can possibly assist them with elevating.
Absolutely. I actually think that would be more appropriate. You have now armed and equipped, you motivated, you supercharged them
Yes,
with education. They feel motivated. Feel like
yes,
you can accomplish, like that's the power in education, right? You now feel, I think I can accomplish this. I can scale this. I can climb Mount Everest. That is the power in education. You have now been given something that you did not have beforehand. Anybody else? What does differentiation mean to them?
I think cutting through the noise.
I'm sorry.
When it comes to marketing, like cutting through the noise.
Cutting through the noise. I love it. In what ways?
Like setting yourself apart, why
How?
your product is better than everybody else's, without putting your competition down, but just kind of,
How? My product's better than yours.
I think showing people, like demonstrating,
How?
like certain things. Like when it comes to water, you know, you go through the aisle, it wasn't just a storm, the body's still sitting there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right, like it's available and it's
Yeah,
cheap,
yeah.
but it's kind of like, no, I still, even though it's a storm,
Yeah.
I still want this thing.
Right.
Like, it's like, you feel good after you buy the thing, so
Yeah.
cutting through the noise of the water aisle, I think.
I love it. I love it. Cutting through the noise. You hear it often. It's one of those statements, right? But it has such an applicable meaning because there's so much noise in all of our markets. Again, everything that we do, it's a saturated space, but it's saturated at the bottom. How can you cut through the noise and position yourself where you want to be? This is not differentiation. This is not differentiation. Great customer service, good quality work. Those are not differentiating things. Okay, you hear it often. Oh, we provide incredible service. We provide, we're affordable. These are not differentiating things. Okay, I want to make sure that we're good on that.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes, so I'm going to kind of speed up here a little bit. But these are extremely important. Differentiation. What sets you apart from the other competitors that are in your space, that are in your tier, in your market? How are you different? And your value proposition. Probably my second favorite thing in relation to positioning. What does your customer get working with you that they're not going to find anywhere else in the industry? Here's the thing with differentiation and value proposition. It comes from these 3 things. Kayla, you said one kind of best, working with a particular group or an audience that only you can serve. You can say, hey, I know this audience best. I can come into we do a lot of city events with Parks and Rec departments, where we are award winners as it pertains to working with them. There's nobody I'm not gonna say nobody, there are not many other video agencies that can come in and I can go into a city Park and Rec department and say, we're award winners, we work with other local municipalities, we wanna take your event to the next level. That is a value proposition through niche. A particular process. Do you have something that you use that other people in your industry just don't have and they can't replicate it? Think through it. What can you possibly, what is it about your process that nobody in your industry has that can replicate it? And results, what is it about working with you that you can get that other competitors in this space can't? To give you an example of what that looks like, for myself, and Signature Style Media, when you work with us, you get an integrated video ecosystem. That is a suite of assets, of video assets and marketing material that work together to achieve business results for your business. That's different from we shoot videos or me just giving you one video. That is a end result differentiation. Starting with strategy, that is a process. We don't just show up and shoot. That's the easiest part of our jobs. Everything is beforehand with that. And scalable video solutions. Our strategies and our videos and marketing material scale with you. We grow as you grow. It's foundational. Get really clear on what your value propositions are. This piece of it, when you understand who it is that you're serving, when you understand what you're achieving and helping you know, again, your ears to your clients and you know what outcome that they're looking to achieve, this formula becomes really powerful. We help X achieve X by this, without this. Ideal client avatar. Know your demographics, guys. We talked about this with Planet Fitness. Know what they look like, okay? They might be in this weight range. They may have been going to the gym for X amount of months, right? Know demographics is numbers, guys. Know your numbers. I want to take this time to, you guys have, in each of your folders, have a quick survey. We want you to fill that survey out, please. If you don't mind, please take the time out to do that. And then we'll go ahead and get this wrapped up. But while we're on demographics, I wanted to take the time to actually fill out this form because we need your demographic information.
Yes, please and thank you. If you don't use the QR code that's provided, there's also a physical copy that you can turn into us at the front. We appreciate that. You can do either or. You don't have to do both.
About to join the summer game. I think the last few months about the marketing funnel. We'll just do some of the new stuff. It's on my calendar. I'll take it a day at a time.
The same.
How we looking on progress, yes? Quiet group.
We got about another minute. We really appreciate that. Again, that helps us to continue to provide these wonderful trainings and workshops to the community. Prairie View Extension is, like I said, we're in Tarrant County, we're in Dallas County, we're in Kaufman County, and our initiative is to make sure that you have all the resources, the tools, the trainings, that really just make your business grow, make you better, in every possible way. If you have additional questions, we're always available as well. My information is also in that packet. So feel free to send an email, reach out. If you're like, hey, I'd love to have a workshop on whatever, let us know. And then we'll try to provide that for you, also for free. We're never gonna charge you. It's always gonna be for free.
Economic development.
Yes, economic development. We wanna make sure that if you have those tools, like Jerry was saying earlier, if you have those tools, then you're able to really build yourself up and it goes deeper than just you because then you're building the community as well. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and, we're very limited on time here, so I'm gonna breeze through a couple of these, but I wanna give you all the most important, well, one of the most important pieces I'll say. Psychographics, we talked a little bit about this as well, okay? The only thing I wanna say here, know how your audience thinks, what they value, what they're concerned about. To give you an example, when you start to understand this, marketing becomes really easy and really powerful. There are certain things that you're gonna start to see as trends. When I hear somebody use terminology like cost versus investment, I know like oftentimes they're not growth minded, and that might not be my audience when serving a premium audience, right? If you're an accountant, you may see what's the minimum I need to put in this fund versus what's the best long-term growth strategy. Those are very different psychologies, and they're gonna give you indications on who it is that you're dealing with and how you can market, okay? Know your psychographics of your audience. The before and after states. What are they struggling with before they come into contact with your service? The before state. What are their fears? What are their doubts? What are their aspirations? And then after they've interacted with your service, how have you solved it? What is it? What is their lifestyle like? How do they feel? All of this is included in your marketing will help you market. Messaging, just communicating your value. Think with your audience in mind. Okay, think about it. Every piece of copy that you write, think what's in it for me from your audience's standpoint, okay? And last, the marketing funnel. This is the most important piece that you can consider. It's gonna help you create content. It's gonna help you close deals. The marketing funnel is a systematic approach that is used to attract, engage, and convert for a specific audience. Oftentimes it's leads or a specific goal, okay? And what that looks like is 3 steps. When you think about a funnel, it's wide at the top and it narrows down, right? The reason it's important is because people come into contact with your business at different stages. Some people have never heard of you. Some people know you exist, but they don't trust you. Some people are ready to almost do business with you. They just need a last bit of push. Awareness is the initial top stage, where you're just now first interacting with somebody. Think about that cute guy, that cute girl that you just first seen. Girl, who's that? That's awareness, right? How many of us have been in the middle phases of it after you've been out a couple of dates with them? They're not so appealing so much. Or maybe, somebody caught your attention and you're just like, girl, he ain't all that attractive. Went on a couple of dates with him, came back and told your homegirls, and you were just like, you know what, I like him. That's consideration. And then conversion is that last bit of social proof needed to get people over the edge. Maybe that's your homegirl coming in and just saying, girl, he's a good guy. I know him. Use these to create content for your business. You need content that gets people to know you, content that gets people to like you, content that gets people to trust you. And you need content for all of those stages because you never know where they are in that particular journey of your business. Costly mistakes to avoid: do not speak to everybody in your marketing. It is too vague. Believing good quality will sell itself. We talked about that earlier. You will be the world's best kept secret. I promise you. Being good quality is the floor. It's the floor. Building a business around what you want to sell, we talked about that. And then consistency across different channels. Practical next steps. Define what problem that you solve in the marketplace. Get really clear on that piece of it. Everything is going to stem around that. What problem do you solve in the marketplace? That's going to dictate your audience. That's going to dictate your system and approach and how you curate and foster your brand. Understand your ICA. When you know your customers, it's a breeze. I promise you. That is your demographics, your psychographics, the before and after states. And then brand consistency. Audit your brand. How do you sound? Do you even have brand voice pillars? And is it the same across all your channels? Your brand already exists. The question is, are you leading it or is it leading you? That's all that I have, you guys. I appreciate your time and efforts. Thank you for keeping this Chelsea, do you have anything for Q&A or anything like that?
Yeah, we can say 5 minutes for Q&A.
Okay, I wanna make sure, this is open format, guys. This is what I do. I am responsible for the branding and marketing of many different local businesses and amongst many different industries. I am here to service and help you guys. If you have any branding or marketing related questions, it helps me know what our local businesses are struggling with. Please, this is an open dialogue. I know we got a quiet group here, but does anybody have any questions that they'd like to shoot off?
Yeah, likewise.
How long have you been doing like video marketing?
So I've been in the video marketing space for 6 years now. 6 years, 3 years full-time, and I freelanced 3 years before that. So,
Were you scared to take that leap, like to go full time?
boy, God pushed me. I wasn't gonna do it myself. Yeah, I came from a really conservative household, and I didn't know I was just really risk averse. So, entrepreneurship, that's something you gotta be real comfortable with. So, yeah, it's good. So.
What was the most challenging part of anything that you presented today for you to implement?
Understanding your audience. Like when people speak of ideal client avatars, it used to just go in and out my head. It's so common. It's so common that you hear knowing your audience, right? But it was the biggest thing that unlocked my business and and everybody else's business, because everything, like we open the startup, it stems from your customer. You're building an entire ecosystem and system, a product, a service around what this particular product or service and who it serves. So you have to know that ICA like the back of your hand. And when you do, everything is truly as easy as breathing at that point. But it seems so vague. Demographics, they 35 to 55, female, live in this county. It just seems so generic and vague. The psychographic piece really unlocked it for me. Like, what do they value? What do they strive for? What are their fears? What are their aspirations? So I would say that's the biggest piece. I figured that part out. Any other questions? Okay, I want to let's do real fast. Share the biggest takeaway that you had. We'll go down row by row. Nothing long-winded, please, but I want to know kind of what works, what was helpful. Share your biggest reflection point, guy. We can start back with you. Something that you just learned today.
It'll be hard to say because
You were mentees, right? I give him all the game, so.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time. I'll say the biggest thing that I would take away from today is the psychographic aspect of understanding your ideal audience. Because, kind of like something that you just stated, kind of like their age group, where they live, what county, and all these other things,
Right.
but not necessarily their values as individuals, because different business owners have different values.
Right.
Most business owners, the biggest thing is your profit. Some of them is the ability to be able to scale
Right.
and be able to control their industry. But some people is, how can I make more money with with having the minimum expenses
Right.
in my business? So just understanding what those people are looking for and
What
being
they
able to
value.
tailor
Yeah.
and speak to those pain points within your content and also during your calls with those clients.
That's good. Rocco?
Yeah, so God stole mine.
Yeah. We can come back to you if you want.
Yeah, no, well, I would say, the psycho piece, I think, was pretty big, understanding the minds,
Yeah.
because people are thinking in terms of demographics,
Right.
not necessarily the mind. But
That's good.
I would say second was your statement about how there is a demand for almost every supply. Like the demand will always exceed supply. I think that was
Always.
That was brilliant. I've never heard that, but I think that was a very articulate way of putting that together.
Thank you. Yep. That is there's no shortage of what it is that you offer.
Mine is that branding is so much more than just the colors.
Yeah.
The logo.
That's what people typically think, right?
Yeah, that there's
So I
so
would
much
say.
more behind it.
Absolutely. I ain't heard you speak all day, man. So this is gonna be. I want to hear your voice.
The things we do similar things, so it's good to hear someone in the industry or sub-industry give a different take on certain things.
Nice.
So
Anything in particular?
you talk about the psychographics. We, in my consultancy, we term it differently, but it is understanding the subconscious subliminal connection to things.
Nice.
And how that drives behavior.
Love it. Yep.
My biggest takeaway has to do with the positioning. Is that quote where you said that it's not about changing what you do, it's about changing the way people perceive what you sell.
Tell you, man, I feel like Shakespeare every time I say that line, man. But it's so applicable. It's so true. It's so true because most people think they have to actually evolve or revamp their entire service, when they really have a positioning and a perception problem. So.
I think my biggest takeaway was two things. One was a reaffirmation that being oversaturated is a mindset.
Yeah.
It shows that you have a limited mindset because there's numerous businesses that do the same thing and they're all thriving.
Yeah.
So it most definitely is a limiting mindset that you have.
Yeah.
The other thing is you can have every aspect of your business aligned and in order, but if you aren't consistent and you don't have continuity, and you're all over the place, you're gonna lose everybody you're trying to attract.
Yeah.
Because they can't follow your flow,
Right.
because there is none.
Yep.
So that
Absolutely.
consistency piece, and not only is it applicable in business, but it's applicable in every aspect of your life.
Right.
At times we get comfortable and we get in ruts and we get stuck and we stop.
Right.
And we'll say, oh, we'll pick that back up.
You lose that momentum.
Yes.
It's everything. It gives people a chance to firmly Google what Kleenex you
Yes.
need. So
Yes.
awesome.
Thank
Thank you.
Man, I definitely agree with positioning as well. Just an aspect of like I tell you all the time, my favorite word being pivot. Having to figure out what you're gonna do because we're all business owners here. You're not gonna do one thing. If you do one thing, a market can swallow you up. You never get that groove that you're looking for. But being able to position yourself in the aspect of pivoting, finding like your niche and what you want to do in the business world,
Yeah, man. Where's the room?
can't compare.
Right.
Exactly.
Where can I operate within this market? I want to be in this space. How can I kind of just position myself a little bit to the left of this competitor, above this person? It's important. Once you know your lane and your pocket, it's easy to operate in that space.
Exactly.
It's just defining that's the hardest piece. So Lisa?
Love the art of positioning too. But something that I feel like I've caught in a new light today was you breaking down differentiation, what it's not. I think I just hear it so often, like people that being that selling point, that quality is their selling point.
Right.
And not realize, and I guess I accepted it a little bit more from businesses, but like, that's not.
Those are basic bare minimum.
Very,
if you're a business,
very
you should be
bare
providing
minimum.
quality service.
And I'm a pretty like picky particular person. That would never fly in my personal life. Like, oh, hi, I'm a man, we can get married. Or just like, we can have a baby. Like, that's just the bare minimum. Like, we need the fit and that resonance.
That's the pre-rent.
This
I'm with that.
Right.
This is the floor. This is the floor. So that's great. Thank you for sharing.
I would also say consistency and continuity. Because I feel like in my business, my online presence is very, it can come off a bit intimidating, I think. But then when people meet me in person, it's like, oh no, like I love being here, it's,
Okay.
it's just a different way.
And is that intentional, that intimidation piece?
Not necessarily. I think I'm just, I think perfectionist when it comes to like content and like,
Gets in the way of being consistent, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
But then when people come in, it's like, I am still, providing a service. Well, I'm a hairstylist.
I got you.
And so I think, my online presence kind of presents like, oh, you have to be a model.
I've heard that comment, like, you're out my budget before they even talk to you.
Well, not
right?
even the budget, but just like perception wise. Like, I do a lot of editorial work, but I also work in the salon. So when people see that, they're like, oh, I need to be a model to come to you.
To come
It's
in,
like, no, I have regular, everyday clients.
That's something that we commonly see, and so I love the fact that you shared that. Something that is definitely, something to address, with your content and your messaging is extremely important in instances like that. Because it is something, believe it or not, that's a common problem that we see for premium service providers where they're losing business, where they're not even, their services aren't incredibly high, but people feel like they're priced out just because the quality is so good, so.
I agree with what said too, as far as like the premium, like going from creating content, I have a lot of different clients, and then when it comes to mine, it's kind of like, now I feel like I gotta do a certain level because I just did theirs at a certain level. So I don't know, I think that was the biggest takeaway. And then also, when you said that saturation happens at the bottom, yeah, that was a big one for me.
Awesome, Chelsea.
So you talked about layers.
Yes, indeed.
That's a huge takeaway for me, just in my business, but also with this workshop. Because what if I told you that everything that you taught, there are deeper levels to it, there are deeper layers to it. And we're actually bringing that in the Business and Development Academy starting on April 1st. It is 9 free sessions, 9 workshops, where we take businesses like yourself, aspiring businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, from the very steps of starting your business to being able to contract for government contracting, to bid for government contracting. And so you'll see in your folders some registration for the Business Academy. Go ahead and sign up because those slots are gonna go real fast. They already going fast.
We want to see you again.
Jared will be presenting on April 14th. So if you don't do anything else and you want to get deeper into what he did today, I'd say go ahead and sign up for that. But no, definitely the layering piece, because everything, one, you have to grow in your business, you have to grow in your brand, you have to grow within yourself. But that takes a lot of investing in yourself as well, investing in your business, investing in that knowledge. And so once you crack that first part of it, you're gonna have to keep building on it. You have to keep doing that consistency piece. So I thank you, Jared. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it again. I appreciate everyone for having me and
Yeah.
the work that you guys are doing. So
Appreciate that.
I love to see us competing at the local level and scaling. So
Absolutely.
it all compounds from here. And thank you all for having me.
Absolutely. Let's get Jared a hand clap. I hope you got all his information. If not, please go bombard it and get it from him, because his services are awesome as well. So yeah, please check out
Means a lot coming from
Man, look. Of course. And if we could really quick before everybody runs out, I have to run out too. Can we take a group picture over here if y'all don't mind? If you shy them, we all shy. Y'all fine.
I'm not shy.
Are you not shy? Let's get over here on this big banner right here if you don't mind. Can you take that? Yeah, okay. Actually, I'm gonna do a selfie so I can get you there first, and I'm gonna do the camera.
I don't know if we're
So
gonna be
you gonna
moving
come over there,
away.
you look at the selfie, and then all you gotta do is just click that one. All right, so let's do this one first, and then I'm gonna have you come over here. So I can do this first.
Jared, you have to
Chris.
turn this on?
Is this the remote right here?
I'm sorry.
Can we turn the
Yeah. Yeah, it was from here, so we're just gonna turn that power.
Gotta get in here, man.
I think it's on standby, y'all.
Yeah, it says, you just press OK.
Press the back.
Are you doing that right now?
All right, perfect. Perfect. All right, y'all get in there like y'all love each other. This is You got everybody needing to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back a little bit.
Yeah, if you need to go back, go back.
Let's get in here, man.
And then I'm gonna get y'all a little selfie, then y'all can go run off and do whatever y'all need to do today.
Hold on, let me set mine up. I'll just take it from you.
All right.
I'm sure. Wow.
And
You
just,
gave her numerous problems.
here, take a
Oh,
couple
no,
of them,
ready?
you know, somebody
Yeah,
can
I
look
will.
off.
All right, ready?
One of them old school cameras.
No, it just looks like.
You got a 1,000 photos there right now.
All right, everybody get in for myself real quick if y'all don't mind.
Jump
Jump in there, hold on.
Oh, you
You
might
gotta
have to
go
go
watch.
shoot.
Ooh,
Might have to go
I'm gonna have
outside.
to go, yeah, you're right,
You
you're
might have to
right.
go outside.
Hold on.
We might squeeze in like a huddle maybe.
Yeah, we might get squeezed in. Y'all
Yeah,
want to
someone-
squeeze in a little
We
bit?
family, man. Come on, man.
Let's get the iPhone 25.
You know what? Cause I can't even get, hold on.
You can do a video on that one while
Yeah,
we take a
you know, but
selfie.
let's do that, you're right. And then I'll just take it from there. Y'all can wait, I'll say.
Hey.
Awesome. Awesome.
We have to do the A again. It was like, hey, it's me. I didn't know what to do, you know.
All right, everybody.
Hey!
Extension.
Tarrant County in the house.
So Tarrant County, I hear all three. PV extension. 1, 2, 3.
PV extension.
Hey, thank you so much, y'all. All right.
Let me get one more picture.
Oh, you one more picture? Okay. Oh, were you taking the picture? Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Acting on a knee or something.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you register for the Bid Academy.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
What you see about it? You said what? What you see about it?
I
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, I saw it on social media.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was the post that you tagged you in. I was like,
Oh, gotcha.
I commented on it, responded.
Yeah, I didn't know, I didn't know you were gonna be here, but that's a problem. It's something good to see you, man. Hopefully,
Thank you.
I like you.